everybody, I'm Elise Wong and today I'm going to share with you a time-lapse video along with commentary on how I painted this squirrel. I'm trying out a new format where I combine my time-lapse video and my Malaysian Beauties, which I now rename Malaysian Animal Awareness because I think that is a little bit more direct. So I'm trying to combine them into one video instead of making them separate. I think the consumption and the absorption of that will be a bit better, but please let me know what you guys think of this new format. It would really mean a lot to know whether I'm doing things better. So this is the next animal for my Malaysian Animal Awareness project, and this is the Asian tricolor squirrel, also known as the Prevost squirrel. And its pattern is really unique. The fact that I find that this squirrel is actually in Malaysia just blew my mind. I did not know we had such beautiful animals here. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy.
I start with a dark green for the background, but for the bouquet I start airbrushing white and then I overlay it with different colors such as green, yellow, blue, brown, just to give an illusion that it looks like leaves and the sky peering through, even though they're all very vague shapes. Another tip that I learned from art groups that they suggested I give a whitewash to lighten the colors because the colors were at the time was so saturated that it could probably compete with my subjects. So it was a very good tip and I gave it a little whitewash and it made the colors a lot more natural. It's really fun to have feedback from your art group. It helps a lot. I add in the flat colors for the branch, and this was a mixture of gray, brown, and red. And I'm not too familiar with painting a branch, so I just took different brushes that I thought would give a correct texture and I just kind of played around with it. It is scary to experiment with acrylics, especially if you do a mistake. It is very difficult to undo it. So experimenting sometimes I'm not too excited for, but I do admit sometimes you just gotta throw fear out the window and just go for it. And you have to remember that it's all about having fun. Painting is about de-stressing. It shouldn't give you more stress. And I remember this is all about having fun and I should just let loose and experiment to my heart's desire. Whatever leftover paint I got, I painted the rest of my branches. After that, I used the same mixture of paint, which is gray, red, and brown, and then I just airbrushed the edges just to give it that nice soft look. This gives a good sense of depth of field. Following the reference photo, which was really helpful, it definitely helped in the foreground branch to give it that semi-detailed yet blurry soft focus at the same time. It really helped a lot. The back branch was really easy because it was very vague. I don't have to put much effort into it. I blocked in the color for the squirrel, which was relatively easy. It was just black, dark gray, and reddish brown. I thought it would be a nice touch to have the tail semi-unfocused, because if the entire background was blur and then the squirrel was absolutely clear, it kind of looks like a cut and paste. So I thought it would be a good idea for the tail to be gradually unfocused in the distance. For blocking the colors, it doesn't have to be detailed. You don't have to worry too much. Just make sure you don't go out of the outline so you don't have to sweat so much about it. And I put in the shadows underneath the squirrel because it's kind of weird if there is no shadows. Your subject just kind of looks like it's floating around. So shadows are very important. So as I said before about the tail, around the edges, I airbrush it to give it that nice soft look. I followed the colors with my reference photo as well as the direction of the fur. That is very important as well. For the brighter spots, I kept adding white and then I overlay it with the reddish brown. That really helps you adding lighter and lighter colors onto darker surfaces. For the eyes, I add white glaze, and then I will give a touch of titanium white to have that nice bright reflection. By adding that, it just kind of adds so much more life into your subject. For the fur, I used filbert brush, which is my favorite go-to brush for fur. I add some shadows a little bit here and there where I thought it should be darker, and then I slowly go and build up layers using brighter and brighter tones. So right now it's a little bit of dark gray, and then I will continue on to a lighter gray at certain parts. It's kind of like a cake, like, you know, as the cake goes on top, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's like the entire squirrel was dark gray at first, and then after that I start using lighter gray. But as we move to the top, for the most lightest gray, I'm only going to paint certain parts of that. So sometimes less is more, to make it a lot more appealing. For the reddish brown, there isn't really much to paint because most of them are in shadow. There's a slight hint of brighter reddish brown, and I just did a little touch of that, and then I do not use that paint again. Like I said, sometimes less is more. For the nail, is also a little bit like the eye. I used a white glaze, and then I used a fine brush for the pure titanium white. For the hands, it was really fun to do because all I had to do is just polka dot it, and it's really funny because I think art is just a beautiful illusion of realism, because all I did was I just polka dot the darks and the lights, and then it really looks so textured, but in reality I just polka dot it. That's what I think good artists are illusionists, in the sense that all they had was a brush with them, and yet they can create an illusion of reality. So I keep adding lighter and lighter tones to build up that fur, to make it look it kind of makes it look like it's very fluffy in a way. Like it creates the thickness of the fur. And there I go with the lightest gray, and I'm only putting it in certain places. I'm not doing everything, and just the lightest parts of the squirrel.
So thank you for watching. I hope you found that helpful, and I hope that helps with the awareness of Malaysian animals. Appreciate by sharing the love by liking and subscribing, and you can follow me on the following social media sites down below in the video description. You can also support me by helping to keep this channel going by being a patron over at Patreon, or even donating. Links are down below in the video description. That's all for today, and I hope you have a pleasant one. Bye! Until the next video or live stream.